be that isn't yet. Okay, so this is very, very important, because vision is always to do with the ignition of the heart, while sight is the function of the optical eyes. Every time we talk vision, we are usually speaking about the heart. All right, vision is always of the heart or of the mind. Our sight is to the eyes. So we are looking clearly to lubricate the soul, because that is where the seat of power is in terms of emotions, to go help us get what it is we are looking for. And then transformational leaders are very, very good at reinforcing purpose during times of uncertainty. You can count on them to reframe. They can take negative situations and reframe it into a positive. You can tell them this is what's going on in the forex market. You can tell them this is what's going on in terms of the economic outlook of the country. Transformational leaders never buy into those types of stories. They will nod in consent. They will let you know they understand and empathize, and then they'll reframe. They'll turn it around into a positive. They are always turning negative situations into positive situations. That's why they're called transformational leaders. Okay? And the next level, of course, of the transformational leader in terms of the 4I is intellectual stimulation. Intellectual stimulation. Now, the way this works is that they begin by encouraging innovation in all kinds of areas, not only just products and other processes, but in service. They encourage innovation. They constantly say, let's look at this with new eyes. How do we raise our game in this area? All right, what can we introduce? What can we implement? What can we incorporate? All right, to keep us at the forefront of the charge in the marketplace. All right, so outdated assumptions are questioned. Why are we still doing this? Why are we still using that? Why are we settling for this? Why is this good enough? In this time and in this age, why are we still using outdated systems like this? Transformational leaders will challenge that, okay? Because their focus is the organizational success. Their focus is to meet the organizational objective and to grow and drive the success of the organization. So based on that, which is the focal point, this is what they focus on. Because of that, they challenge everything else that does not align with the direction they're looking to travel in. Okay? So they are happy to promote experimentation, to test things out, for example. Now, of course, they are able to use data and analytics for decision making, so they can arrive at decisions much, much quicker. They are conversant also with AI and machine learning to assess lending criteria, which this happens a lot over here. They're using, I'm sure Nigeria is usually very, very good, to be fair, with technology and innovation in Nigeria. Okay, in fact, the banking sector in Nigeria, they have some of the most robust and most dynamic. I mean, I was saying to some players over here in England, they were amazed at what we do in Nigeria, what we do with the mobile phones and how we transact. They are shocked, okay? So Nigeria is doing quite amazing in these areas. So AI, machine learning to assess lending criteria, especially for those who lack formal credit history. The last time I looked at this, there were about 350 to 500 was the estimate. I was speaking at the cash, central bank cash conference, and they were discussing the future of cash, and there I was able to find out that there were approximately 350 to 500 million unbanked in Africa. Some put the estimate at over 500 million. All right. So AI and machine learning could help us in areas like this to assess the best lending criteria for people who don't have a track record, for example. And then the last pillar in the eyes is individualized consideration. Now, I shared a sample vision of 2028 a few moments ago. So the focus now is to develop with that goal in mind of what it is, depending on the various metrics you have used for your own measurement, for putting together your own vision for your own bank. All right. And for example, in 2 years' time, here's the return on investment. Here's what we are returning for shareholder value. Here's what we intend. We want to be the top 5 bank in Nigeria, for example, top 10, for example, in various metrics that you use for your measurement, whatever that is. All right. So you will also need to focus on individuals because people are still going to deliver these results you're looking for. Okay. I know all over the world they are talking about automation. They're talking about AI and robots doing all kinds of things. But, thank God we still have humans doing a lot of work still. So you're going to need people to help deliver the results you're looking to deliver. So in 2028, for example, and beyond, if we are looking to make that leap in the next 2 years to achieve certain results, all right, and beyond, you are going to need to look at how to get your troops on board and how to ensure that there are key individuals you've identified, that you're throwing your weight behind the individuals, and then other up-and-coming players as well to also benefit from the mentoring and the coaching and the development that is required for them to be the very best that they can be on behalf of the bank. So we're going to be looking to prioritize coaching and mentoring. All right, we're going to be developing high potentials for future roles. So people you've seen who have potentials in terms of succession planning, you want to put them in line and throw some weight behind these people who are going to be the super rock stars of the bank. All right, we identify skills gap and we map out capability needs, what's going to be required for these people to get them from their C game, get them to their A game, and to tailor support for performance growth. Every employee must feel valued, must feel seen, and must be developed. Everyone has a role to play. All right? So these are the 4 I's, as we call it, in transformational leadership that enable transformational leadership to be effective. Idealized influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, individualized consideration. Okay? So now, why transformational leadership matters? This is very, very important. Why does it matter? Well, transformational leaders drive rapid number one is rapid digital transformation. I don't have to say it because you're already doing it, reshaping traditional banking models and operations, having them reshaped. Second, the regulatory pressures, which is constantly requiring adaptive compliance. Third is changing customer expectations because customers are demanding personalized digital experiences, which is why a lot of the fintechs are really exploding. And then competition from fintechs. These fintechs have disrupted traditional market positions. And then the need for adaptive, visionary leadership, which is essential for survival and growth. So this is why transformational leadership matters. Now, at the end of my presentation today, I have a couple of case studies and a little bit of an interactive session, which I'd like to do because I think it would be very, very interesting. So, what is the role of transformational leadership in risk mitigation? First is to promote a strong risk culture. So, transformational leaders embed a culture where risk awareness is part of daily operations. That is the way banks usually operate, anyhow. But they do this more and more by modeling ethical decision making and accountability, ensuring that employees understand the importance of compliance and prudent risk taking. And the impact is this is that we'll have reduced operational errors. It is not usually a nice thing when banks make mistakes, all right? For some strange reason, people just expect, in terms of the mind orientation of people, they just expect banks not to make mistakes, all right? So the idea is this will help to reduce operational errors, improved adherence to regulations, and stronger international or tighter international controls. The second is enhancing proactive risk identification. So through intellectual stimulation, leaders also encourage employees to question assumptions and identify emerging risks early. Notice, they encourage employees. All right? They don't shut down the employees. They actually encourage the employees to be able to flag things and bring things to their attention early. So an example could be detecting fraud patterns using innovative thinking and artificial intelligence for the detection. Also, anticipating market volatility trends. All right? This all happens by enhancing proactive risk identification. And of course, the impact is it's like a early warning system. And clearly, the overall benefit is reducing financial losses to the institution, to the bank. C, encouraging innovation in risk management tools. So transformational leaders will support the adoption of advanced technologies such as AI-driven risk analytics, which I know a lot of the banks are using in Nigeria already, real-time monitoring systems, automated compliance tools. The impact, faster decision making, improved accuracy in risk assessment. Now, take credit cards for banks, all right? Now, I don't know if this is used in Nigeria yet, but over here, because the banks are constantly soliciting for more patronage, all right, to boost, of course, their numbers, they tend to entice you to come apply for credit cards or loans. And the way they tend to do it, because over here, forgive me, I don't know if we have this in Nigeria yet, but we have what we call credit reference agencies over here. And your credit reference agencies, if you like, they are the ones responsible for your credit score. As an entrepreneur myself, my credit score is of highest importance and priority. Okay, because if my credit score is not at the right numbers, it's difficult for me to get loans if I needed a loan. It's difficult for me to get credit lines or credit card if I need one, because the first thing the bank will do is they will check, and this is almost instant, All right. They will check to see if I am credit worthy. And all of the banking systems are tuned into the credit reference agencies. So what the banks tend to do, they'll say to you, look, why don't you apply and see if you can get X amount of money, X amount of loan or X or credit cards, and it won't affect your credit score. We won't do a proper search because every time you do a proper search, you leave some footprints. All right. The credit reference agency will be able to record how many times a bank has credit scored me, using me as an example. All right. The footprint will be there. If you've had more than two or three over a 6 month period, is considered excessive. It's frowned on. These are hard searches. All right. The hard searches will leave a footprint. They will leave a mark on your credit score. So and so applied for this. The bank turned them down, or the bank approved it. Whatever it is, it leaves a marker on your credit score. However, what a lot of the banks do now, they say, look, do you want to apply? Do you want to see whether you qualify for this credit card or for this loan without it affecting your credit score? And all that really means is called a soft search. All right, you have a hard search and a soft search. Soft searches, you can do as many as you want. It doesn't leave an imprint, and your creditors are not able to see it on your file. It doesn't matter how many times you have soft searches, which it could be insurance, it could be credit card companies, it could be loan companies, it could be car finance. It doesn't matter who they are. If they can do as many soft searches as possible, all right, it doesn't affect your credit score at all because it is not seen by lenders. But the hard searches leave a mark, and those ones are seen by creditors. So one of the ways they do it, of course, is they'll say, look, why don't you apply for so and so? It's going to be a soft search. It won't affect your credit file, so, to see whether you qualify. And then you will just apply, and they'll give you a decision in principle to say, okay, usually seconds, usually under a minute, sometimes 30 seconds. Boom, the results come back. You are pre-approved. You can now apply properly. All right, you are pre-approved. So that is a very powerful thing. I'm not sure if that's available in Nigeria yet. Please forgive me if it is. I don't know. I'm just asking the question. Okay. So all of these things help in risk management tools, and it helps in faster decision making and accurate risk assessments. The other thing, of course, is strengthening employee engagement and accountability. So by focusing on the individualized consideration, leaders build trust and empower employees to take ownership of risk-related decisions. And the commensurate impact is that there'll be increased vigilance in operations, better reporting of potential risks, and reduced likelihood of misconduct. Item E, improving crisis management and resilience. So transformational leaders provide clear direction during financial crisis or operational disruptions, maintaining team morale and focus. The TLs, or transformational leaders, they actually come into their own in periods of crisis. The reason for that is because they are highly inspired and highly inspirational people. They know how to provide inspiration. They know how to provide motivation. With themselves, and of course, with other people as well. They are brilliant at taking bad news and reframing bad news into a news that's palatable. They are good at taking everything else people are complaining about that is not happening, it's not working, they are able to show up and change the impression in that room right away. That's just the way they are wired. Okay. Example, the bank may be having some liquidity crisis. Transformational leaders will be thinking purely with their mind completely solution focused on how do we turn this around, what are the avenues open to us, what can we adopt, what can we implement to turn the situation around. They never accept that all is lost. You're dealing with the wrong people when you deal with transformational leaders. They never accept that there's anything that cannot be done. All right? They are possibility thinkers. Possibility thinkers. They are worth their weight in gold. Okay? So, impact of all of this is faster recovery from any disruption at all, and more coordinated responses. And these people, whether male or female, who are transformational leaders, they are worth their weight in gold. So, the core competencies of TLs in banking is number one, you're looking there on my screen, strategic vision and growth orientation. And by that, what I mean is that they anticipate the market trends and then they proactively identify competitive shifts and opportunities in line with that market trend. Second, they are able to align teams to a strategy. So this means that they are able to put together cross-functional teams to align with their priorities. And three, they are able to drive new revenue streams by innovating products and services to meet that demand or to meet that growth. Now, a key aspect of the transformational leader is that they have bags and bags of emotional intelligence. You know, emotional intelligence used to be seen as a fluff, as a soft thing that didn't have tremendous value. Today, I don't have to tell you, it's been taught a lot at Harvard and all kinds of places. Over here in the United Kingdom, where I'm based, a lot of senior leaders in the corporations, in the business world, believe it or not, a lot of them had to go on training to learn about emotional intelligence, to understand the new way of the world. Excuse me. And that means from the way they speak to their staff, they have to use a lot of empathy and understanding. Over here, you don't say to staff, I'm going to slap you, get out of my office. You are used. They don't use those words over here because that person is about to put his or her bank in big trouble because they could be sued. All right? They could be taken to tribunals. So a lot of them have had to learn emotional intelligence. And the number one area in emotional intelligence is self-awareness. All right? Getting to know yourself, getting to understand yourself, getting to recognize your own personal motivation, how to turn yourself on without having to wait for somebody else to come turn you on. So these are self-starters, self-inspired, self-motivated individuals. So that's the first part of emotional intelligence. Getting to know yourself and understand yourself, understand what makes you, using the word explode, how to hold those things in check so you don't lose your cool so easily. All of those things you learn through emotional intelligence. And this is why it's foundational to leadership skills. Okay? And the other thing, of course, is communication skills, mastering influence and engagement. They are fantastic at communicating. Fantastic at communicating. Okay? Um, they also build trust and engagement. They build trust and engagement. Please bear with me a second. I just want to be sure this is recording correctly. Just give me a minute here just to stop my share and see real quickly whether you're able to see me. Okay, there we are. Share. Just give me 1 second, please. 1 second. One minute, real quick. Give me a second, please. Second. Just want to be happening the way it's supposed to. Okay. Share my screen. Awesome. Okay. Okay, thank you. Right, I hope you can all still hear me. Right. Um, so I I want to move to the interactive session. Uh, Dr. Dan, perhaps you could help me to coordinate this because I'm not there on the ground right now. So the first session is to demonstrate leadership in action. And the objective is to get the participants to reflect on real leadership behaviors. All right? So here's the activity. I would like everybody to think of a leader who inspired them. What did they do? Not just who they were, but what did they do that really left a mark? Either left a mark in your heart or left a mark in terms of their, or in terms of your admiration for them, in terms of the way they did their work. Can you think of a leader that truly inspired you?
Thank you very much. We will take on this practical aspect after Tunde's activities. Tunde Bamboye is here with us to take his section, and for to maximize the time, we'll make sure that we take those two practical aspects together. Tunde, we call ourselves by first name, all the people, and you don't mind our calling you Tunde. So we want you to come up, or you want to scream from there. You're recording. All right. Good morning, everyone. Come on. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, encourage me. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, let's all stand up before I start my session. Let's all stand up together, together. All right, can we all stand up? Good morning, everyone. My name is Babatunde Bangboe, all right, and I'm going to be your guide for the next few hours as I sort of follow up with what Dr. Charles was talking about in terms of transformational leadership. I'm going to be focusing on leading through the paradox. But before I do that, there's something I want us to do together. Now, Anthony Robbins said something. You know what he said? He said, there are 10 emotions to power in a fantastic book called Awaken the Giant Within You. If you have the time, please read it. And he said that one of those emotions to power is gratitude. So I feel that there's some certain institutions that you need to show gratitude to. But before we do that, I want us to sing a song. Are you ready to sing the song? I will teach you the song, you're going to sing the song, and you're going to do the action in the song. So the song goes like this. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, how do you do? I'm glad to be with you. And you, and you, and you. La 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 la. Come on, Nigerians. You know, let me tell you, I'm looking at your faces. Let me show you the reaction on your faces. Have fun. You know where serious people go to? Aha. So have fun. All right? So I'll sing the song again. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, how do you do? I'm glad to be with you. And you, and you, and you. La 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 la. So what you're going to do is that you're going to go around and you're going to greet people and you're going to sing that song. And when we get to the la 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 la, this is what we're going to do, sir, if you don't mind, sir. So when I say hello, 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 we have to do like this together. Come on, let's do it. Yes, you will move, sir. You say, oh, you will move. La 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 la. And you're going to dance. All right. Are you ready? So let's sing the song and we do the practice. 1, 2, 3, go. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, how do you do? I'm glad to be with you. And you, and you. You know what's making me laugh? That you be telling your children, read, participate, get engaged. Now it is your turn. All right. All right. So let's sing the song. 1, 2, 3, go. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, how do you do? I'm glad to be with you. And you, and you, and you. La 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 la. Let's do it. Let's go around. 1, 2, 3, go. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, how do you do? I'm glad to be with you. And you, and you, and you. All right. La 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 la. Dance. Look at Dr. Kelly dancing. La 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 la. Thank you, sir. La 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 la. Again, next person. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, sir. Move now. You're just standing like this. You're not moving. You're not moving. Yeah. My friend, la 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 la. La 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 la. Next person. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, how do you do? I'm glad to be with you. And you, and you, and you. La 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 la. Now I want you to hold that person. I look at that person eyeball to eyeball. And you're going to greet that person in your local dialect. And you're going to teach that person how to respond in your local dialect. Is that okay? You teach that person how to greet and how to respond. Or you're going to meet somebody, all right? So you pair yourself. You guys participate. Put your laptop down. All right, participate.
right. All right, thank you very much for that high participation. All right, there's a reason why I did that. The reason why I did that is that for us to be productive in the workplace, right, you need to release endorphins, which allows you to be more productive and excited about the work that we do. That is, you're always pumped up and jacked for work that is done. All right, my name, like I said, my name is Babatunde Bangboye, and I am the managing partner of Chris Davidson Advisory Limited. Over the last over 20 years, I've had the privilege of working with organizations. And what I try as much as in and out of the country by God's grace. So what I try as much as possible to do is to capture what I call stakeholder expectation and turn those expectations into employee action. So I come into an organization from a strategic point of view and sort of engage with them and sort of ensure that they're able to optimize whatever it is that they're doing within their space. I'm trying to use my clicker. My clicker has decided not to click. And it's still not working, Abby. It's from the receiver. Interesting. Okay. All right. Okay. So in terms of an objective today, first and foremost, I would like to sort of challenge you. Okay, you want to help me? Don't worry, don't stress yourself, I'll do it. First and foremost, I'd like to challenge you, and not just, when I mean challenge you, to challenge the way we think about what leadership is all about, how we can lead more effectively, and most importantly, how we can lead through the paradox. The second thing that I feel that is so important that I'd like to share with us today is that I'd like to share. So I'd like us to share from our experiences some of the ups and downs of what leadership is all about. And most importantly, how we can become, like I said earlier on before, how we can become more effective in driving performance and leading through the paradox. Number 3 out of 4 is I'd like to inspire action. And that's what Dr. Charles was talking about, how, so transformational leadership is really about action. Everybody say action. All right. So it's about taking action, taking responsibility. Like they rightfully said, right, leadership, everything rises and falls on leadership. And he said something so important is that leaders must model behavior. So if you want to see certain behaviors in your team, it has to be from the organs at the top. Leaders must drive action by the models. That is how they behave. They must model the behavior. From an ethical consideration, the tone at the top actually matters. Then the last one, obviously, is that I want us to take action. And I'm hoping that we can take action today. All right, so let's start with Module 1. There are 4 things that I'm hoping that I would share with us over the next few hours. The first one is that I'm going to be talking about, if we're going to lead through the paradox, one of the key things is about confidence. The second thing we're going to be looking at is about purpose. The third thing we're going to be looking at is at how we can always be on. And the last one, which is so critical, is how do we manage stakeholders. But most importantly, I call it stakeholders capitalism. It's not my words, but it's something that I took from McKinsey. And I think it's important. All right, so in your own words, what do you understand by the word paradox? Does anybody like to share the word paradox? When you hear it is a paradox, you know those big words, those fanciful words, you know, consultancy speak. What does the word paradox mean to you? Anyone? Does anybody like to share? So I've shared my name. My name is Babatunde. So when you answer a question, please share your name and what you do for your organization. Does anybody like to share? Anyone? The word paradox? Asazamak. You know, when you put your laptop up, and you know what happens? It means that what I'm saying, you know, communication is two-way. So it's looking one way-ish. Can we put our, you know, I call it weapons of mass distraction. So can we put let's have a conversation so that we can make our time here worthwhile. All right, so if you don't mind, Saz and Mark, can you just put your laptops down? I usually would suggest a 5 minutes break. If you need to go to your laptop, you can take your laptop outside and just do what you need for 5 minutes. All right, does anybody like to share, in your own words, what does paradox mean? Anyone? The word paradox. I'll quickly do a Google search. In your own words. If you like to say something, sir, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So I like what, so he is saying that it's a space where a particular action takes place. Fantastic, right? Not necessarily right, but you're giving us a perspective. Madam wants to say something. You want to say something, ma? You just waved your hand, right? I thought there was hope. Thank you. This is Women's Month. Ma, the microphone is coming. We must amplify your voice.
Something that seems complex.
Complex, yes, yes. So we're talking about a space, and we're talking about complexity. So those are some of those critical elements in the concept around paradox. Any other person, your thoughts around paradox? Sir, thank you. Yes, now that is it. So within that space and the complexity, the contradictions that happen, those two opposing forces. A good example is organizations expect that you're supposed to help your people grow, but same organization expects that you must assess the people that you manage. They're contradictory, but they're two opposing forces that we all have to manage. But when we look at paradox, and that's why I said what you said is such an important statement, is that a paradox usually occurs within a space, right? So let's look at what is going on globally, right? What is going on globally? Anyone? What are your thoughts? What is going on globally? Because whether you like it or not, leadership happens within a space. So what are the things going on globally? Apart from Trump. Any other thing happening globally? Ma? Global warming, thank you. Yes, it's climate change. Yes, and we're feeling it in Nigeria. How many of you have noticed the heat wave in the last couple of days? It has been crazy. Any other thoughts again? So we have global warming. We have spoken about Trump. I don't want us to go into that direction because it's not a good... even at a domestic level, what else has happened? What's happening globally? What else is happening globally? CAF and Senegal is having issues. It's happening globally, right? I think it's happening globally. Arsenal lost on Sunday. Can you just imagine? How many Arsenal fans are here? Join me in just lamenting. If an Arsenal fan, you say, sir, I feel your pain. Even you're raising up your hand, you're not in a good mood. On Sunday, my TV nearly needed a brother. Ateta. Let's move on. That's a serious global issue. What else again has happened again globally? Sorry? The oil market crisis, yes, is happening right now. As of today, Brent crude is $103 per barrel. Very interesting. In Nigeria, how many of you bought fuel recently? I bought fuel yesterday, 1,335. Anybody going to 1,004? I heard in Ikorodu and some other parts is 1,400. All right, this is the environment in which we play in, the context. Today's leader has to have the ability to manage all of these opposing forces, especially this tightrope of managing all of this and ensuring that the two parts, number one, to ensure that your organization is performing well and being profitable, but also ensuring that your team members are being inspired. No, those are two opposing forces because what the organization is demanding is completely different from what your team members want. Managing those two opposing forces becomes critical. Now, for senior leaders, the first thing that is critical is this issue about confidence. And when we think about confidence, it's really critical. Confidence is what allows teams to win. Confidence is what allows people to come from behind and eventually overtake. Confidence is what sustains a winning streak. But what are those critical elements of confidence that is essential in managing and leading through the paradox. After this module 1, I have a case study of Nnamdi Okonkwo, right? And we're going to look at his case study, and we're going to have a discussion on some of his own challenges. So he is the MD, CEO of Stack Money, a fictional company I created, and is a fintech, and some of the challenges he is facing in real-time Nigeria of today. So we're going to look at that case study together, and we're going to have those conversations. All right, so when we think about confidence, there are two things that we're looking at. We're looking at, from the perspective of the leader, that the leader is confident enough to what I call to show up all the time, to inspire action in the hearts of his members or the team members, and also to ensure that he leverages on the organization's advantage. That creates a bridge. So we're going to see how we can build that bridge together. Now, for us to put this in context, I want to define what confidence means. And I'm going to draw from Rosabeth Kanter-Moss. So she's a lecturer at Harvard Business School and actually wrote a book called Confidence. Right? So I want to listen to what she said. And I think it's so profound. And I want to ask your thoughts. Let's put it within our context, especially in the banking industry where we find ourselves from a regulatory perspective and for those of us who are practitioners. Right? So listen to what she said. She said, confidence acts as what? A bridge. Between what? Expectations on one hand and performance on the other. It is a belief in oneself, one's team, systems and external networks that fuels efforts and attracts support. Now, I want you to think about this particular definition. How does that resonate with you in what you currently do? Would anybody like to share? How does this resonate with you? What are the critical elements of what she has said? How does that speak to what you are doing, especially in your industry, in the financial space? Anyone? Does anybody want to share? How does this resonate with you in terms of what she has said? Does anybody want to share? Anyone? Sir, you're just, sir, I wish I had dollars. Send me your DOM account. Let me send you hypothetical money. Please, sir, what's your name, sir? Hafiz, yes. Please, thank you. Your thoughts?
Thank you. I think confidence is a function of ability, skills, and knowledge.
Yes.
So for one to have confidence in whatever action you want to do, actually you need to believe that you understand or you have the knowledge about whatever action you are going to act on. So if you have the knowledge, the skills, definitely you believe in yourself. Okay, you act in a positive way, and you have, like internal support in you, so that you can act accordingly. I think that's my.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Does anybody like to add to what he has said? Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. And you have brought out something very important, which I'm going to emphasize just from this particular quote, about you as the leader, believing in yourself is such a critical component. We'll talk about that now. Sir, your thoughts. Your name, sir?
Okay, my name
what
is...
bank are you, sir? Sorry, sir, we do it. Which organization? And okay.
Okay, my name is David Dago.
Wow, well, namesake, all right.
All right, so...
what bank, sir? NDIC too?
No. Lapo MFB.
Oh, Lapo, okay.
So looking at the first three lines, she said confidence acts as a bridge between expectations and performance. So for me, expectations there, you're talking about goals. Yeah, she is saying that every day, just like in our work environment, you are faced with goals, challenges, objectives that you are meant to meet. So the performance is like having a belief in yourself that you are able to meet this goal, you are able to meet this challenge, you are able to deliver. So the bridge there is the confidence that you have in yourself to be able to deliver, to be positive, bringing out the skills, the knowledge that you have, to be able to meet this daily challenge. I think that is what she's talking about here.
David, spot on, spot on. And what you have said is so critical. For leaders to become effective, and just like what Dr. Charles was talking about, transformational leader, he was talking about emotional intelligence. Remember what he said? He said one of the key domains of emotional intelligence is self-awareness. Now, it's important to note that if you're truly going to have belief in yourself, it's important that you have your own personal vision. You see, you can't lead effectively and drive organizational performance with your team or your organization without having your own personal vision. And what does vision mean here? George Barna, in his book, The Power of Vision, cited this. He said that vision is foresight based on insight with the benefit of hindsight. I'll say that again. He said vision is foresight. Foresight means what do you see? Second, he said with insight, what do you know about yourself? And hindsight, H-I-N-D, your unique experiences. This is important. Now listen to this. The most effective leaders that has driven organizations to do 10 times their peers, to outperform their peers within the same industry, understand the necessity of having personal vision. Now, if you read the book From Good to Great, where he talks about organizations that do 10 times their peers, you would notice that in that book, he did a research on some of the greatest companies in the world. You will notice that one of the greatest things that he said is that the leaders were individuals that had vision, which he called the level 5 leader. So the question for all of us today is that what's your own personal vision? And I think that's such a very important statement. What's your own personal vision? The second thing about building this belief, right, building this confidence, having a belief in yourself, is self-mastery. That is your own daily routines. And I say this to leaders all the time, right, especially senior exec, is what are your values? As corny as this may sound, I want to say this, and I'll say it like this, that you can't create value except you have values. I'll say that again. You can't create values within your space until you have values. So for each and every one of us in this room, what are your values? What are your values? For you to be effective, to drive organizational performance, always remember, it is through the lens, the paradigm of your own values. Remember, can I ask you this question? And I want you to say if you agree or not. The people that you lead, do they buy into you? I mean, do they buy into your vision or they buy into you first? They buy into you first. Thank you so much, ma'am. Right, do you agree with that statement? And what are they actually buying into? When they say you buy into you first, what are they buying into? Your values. Because every single day we communicate our values to the people that we lead. Listen to this guy, Satya Nadella of Microsoft. When he took over Microsoft in 2004, is it 2014 now? Microsoft was in a complete decline. And the only way you can, I don't want to go into all the history and all of that from Steve Ballmer and all of that, is that he had to lead from his own values, right? And one of his key values was empathy, which is a key domain in emotional intelligence. And he has transformed Microsoft now that his valuation was on a decline. As of 2014, the valuation was as low as 2.14 trillion. Now it has hit 4 trillion. How did he do it? Values. In fact, he said that Microsoft needs to move from know it all to learn it all. An attitude, a humble disposition in driving change. Right? So it's your values that matter. The second thing again that you mentioned about this issue of your personal belief is where does your security come from? Where does your security come from? If your security comes from your title, then you've missed it. So for instance, if this is a networking event, and right, let's say I'm the GM of strategy, McKinsey, and I come and meet you, sir, and I say, what's your name, sir? Ronald. I say, okay, my name is Babatunde Bangwe, GM, strategy, McKinsey. You know, there's a way those global companies, you know how it sounds. But when they sack you, who are you? Former. When they sack you. And that's the challenge. A lot of people forget that you're not your title. There's no entitlement to a title. So we cannot lead from our titles. We have to lead from our values. Does that make sense to us? And that's the root of confidence, that we lead from our values. Eric Fromm said this statement. He said, and answered the question. He said, if I am what I have, and if what I have is lost, who am I? I'll say it again. If I am what I have, and if what I have is lost, who am I? You're nobody. You understand? You're not your title. So if they sack me right now, what happens to me? I remember years ago, I won't mention it because he's late, but I just want to bring out a principle. This particular ED, just one years ago, right, it was known for, always shredding, jumping on tables and all of that. Years later, after he had left, he had started a new bank. I won't mention the bank. And he was talking then to one of my former managing partners. And he said that when he left this particular bank, it took him 6 months to detox. That is, the institution has so much changed him that by the time he left, he had to spend time to remove all of those things. Now, the point is, we are in a system that consistently demands of us. The truth of the matter is that for us to rise above that system is to lead from your values. Your values matter, right? So, as mentioned, your vision, your foresight, insight, and your hindsight. I've mentioned your values. I've mentioned the fact that your security does not come from your title. In fact, there are 4 masteries that we all as leaders, and this is research-based. The first one is security, which I've mentioned earlier on. Security meaning that your identity and your self-worth cannot come from your title, which we have spoken about. And that is why, as a leader, if you're angry and you begin to tell your team members, say that, don't you know when, like a man will say to his wife, don't you know I'm the man of this house? What were you before? You cannot be the woman of the house, right? So it's not shouting that makes you a leader, right? It's not shouting that makes you a leader, right? If you need to tell everybody that you're a leader, then you are not. Margaret Thatcher said something so profound. He said this. He said, if you need to tell everybody that you're a woman, then you're not. Right? Leadership is tangible. It is seen. So security is number one. That is, your self-worth does not come from your title. Your self-worth comes from your values. That is why your self-worth cannot come from your spouse or your children because they will disappoint. Yes or yes? Because they're human beings, right? It can't come from money because money can disappoint. Yes or yes, Roland? Someone said our salary that is supposed to take home is not taking us home. Right? It can't come from anything that is external to us. That's what I mean. Number 2 thing is so important is your guidance. Your guidance here is your frame of reference. Your frame of reference. That is, what is your philosophy about leadership? Is your philosophy of leadership about people serving you, or is your philosophy of leadership about serving others? If your philosophy of leadership is about serving others, then you become more productive. If you have the time, I didn't put the slide up, but maybe during the break I could do that so you can read the quote. Listen to what a man called Simon Sinek, he said something about transformational leaders, or what he called inspirational leaders. Very lengthy quote, I won't quote it, but he said something. He said that people must follow you, not because of, let me rephrase that. That people must follow you, not because of too much book in my head. I can't remember. But what he was simply saying is that people should follow you. Yes. People should not follow you because they have to, but they want to. Does that make sense to us? If they have to follow you, it simply means that they are forced. Thank you, sir. Right? And it's important. And it's a very important statement. So I ask a question to all leaders. And this leader is not for you. For those of us who are team leaders. But for the people that are led by you, if they had a choice, would they choose you? That is, if they said, and let's do a census, I want to choose the leader that would they choose you? So I want you to think about that question. Would they choose you? So the first part, so I've mentioned security, I've mentioned guidance. The third one, which is so important, is power. Power here is your capability or your capacity to act. That is, listen, that everybody is doing it doesn't mean you will do it. Why? Because your paradigm, the philosophy that guides you, your mental model, that is your values, is what will always allow you to do the right thing, irrespective of what is being done. So power to act. But the last one, I wish there was a flip chart. The last one is so powerful, which is wisdom. Wisdom is the nexus between two important things: character and competence. Character and competence. So what happens? Competence opens the doors of opportunities, but what sustains those doors is character. Right? So what does character? Character has three things. Under character is so important, we have the word integrity. Now, a lot of people, if I ask you right now, give me your values, I'm sure integrity in one form or the other would come. How many of you know that integrity is a powerful word? Everybody says, I'm a man or a woman of integrity, but listen, the word integrity is such a powerful word because it means oneness. It means where you get, the root word is integer. You know, integer is a whole number. What does that mean? What does integrity mean? It means it's the nexus between what you say, what you do, and your belief. Now, I see the danger. What you say, what you do, and your belief. So let me say this. If somebody is not performing well, but you don't want to be seen as a bad guy, your belief is that you're not performing well, but you are saying, well done, you have lied. You're not a man of integrity. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or if a matter, your belief of this matter, you don't agree with it and it's attacking a fundamental premise of your own value system and you are still condoning it, you're not a man of integrity. So you can say that integrity is not just flippant. There's a test we usually conduct called the 12 rules of integrity, and nobody gets 12. Nobody. It has never happened. You know why? Because a lot of those questions are going to challenge some fundamentals. And if you get 11 over 12, are you a man of integrity? So we strive for integrity. I like to prefer a better word, credibility. But for the sake of this conversation, integrity. Under character is integrity. Number 2 is emotional maturity. The ability to handle pressure, not shouting. There's a difference between being aggressive, which is, with due respect, sir, what's your name, sir? Olumide, good rest, with due respect. And Olumide, with due respect, sir, this is a report you have sent to me. I'm your boss. This is an aggressive behavior. What kind of nonsense is this? Is there something wrong with you? Is there some, listen, HR, I've always said this, that you should stop recruiting this pure. What is floating between your heads? Obviously, it's not a brain. You know what pure is? Previously unidentified recruitment error. Huh? You want to say, so, you hear, all of us say we have heard it before. You have either gone through that experience one time in your career. I have. All right? But does that make you a leader? Now, with due respect, sir. But assertiveness means that you have done a bad report. I don't need to throw it at you. I put the report down. How many of you know that I can be talking to you and everybody around you will not know what is going on? Or you'll be feeling it. I will not insult you, but I will address it. So for instance, you come in late and I expect you to submit a report, right? And even though what you're saying may be good, traffic and all that, I'll still tell you that, Olumide, I understand, which is empathy, right? I understand, but you see this report, 12 o'clock, I still want it on my table. No fight, no thing. The true test of leadership is when people are annoying you, you're controlling yourself. Not getting angry. You know, sometimes, don't lie, in your mind, there's some team members you want to slap. Say, you know this is a secret. There's some people in your mind you have slapped them, because they just, it's like they don't want to hear word. Yes or yes. They don't want to hear word. But you see, the true test of leadership is control. Self-control. All right? The other one is passive aggression, which is the worst of them, and most leaders fall into that trap. You know what passive aggression is? So only they say, boss, we say boss. Boss, can I go ahead? So say it. Be going. Or that one is, oh yeah, climb my head. So passive aggression is that you're not saying yes, neither you're saying no. No, then the one that is even worse, passive. That one, no response at all. What I'm saying is that out of these four, emotional maturity is assertiveness. Assertiveness is where empathy comes in. Who can define what empathy is? Anyone? Does anybody want to define in your own words what empathy is? Yes, dear. Putting yourself in someone else, you should thank you so much, man. Putting yourself, and that's it, which means that you're seeking first to understand than being understood. You are listening to others. Remember, it is listening. I'm not talking about autobiographical response, which is a typical Nigerian problem. You know the Nigerian problem? Somebody comes to share his problem with you. You have not even listened to the full story. You say, let me tell you what even happened to me. And you begin to narrate your entire life history that does not have any correspondence to what I'm saying. Sometimes just to listen to people is an essential part. All right, so those four things. So under character, we have integrity. Under character, we have emotional maturity. The last one under character is abundance mentality. What does abundance mentality mean? It means that you're not intimidated by anybody's success. So look at your colleague beside you and say, I'll shine my shine, and you shine your shine. Look at the person and say, shine your shine, and I'll shine my shine. So you're not intimidated, which means that if you see somebody who is your direct report that is rising, you're not intimidated by that person's success because your security is not in your title. Your willingness to allow someone flourish, as wide as the atmosphere is. Have you seen two birds collide? Not planes, planes collide in the air, but birds, they haven't. Simply put, there are a lot of opportunities. Under the competence side, so we have three under character. The other three under competence is you have technical ability, you can work independently, but you generate results through others, which is called interdependence. So on one side, we have seen the necessity that confidence starts with your values, starts with your own personal vision for yourself. It comes from self-mastery. I've mentioned four things we must master: security, which is your self-worth; wisdom, which is the nexus between your character and your competence; power, which is your capacity or capability to act; and I've said guidance, which is your philosophy around leadership. All of this matters. But you see, who leadership help if you're not generating results? So Peter Drucker said, effective leadership is about results. It's about results. So, we're meeting the expectations of our team, but the other side of confidence is results, performance. It is driving results in the organization. Driving results, and this is what you see here. So you can see that confidence is not only meeting the expectations of the business vis-a-vis the people that you manage, but it's ensuring that there is sustained performance, that it's results. You want to say something, sir? Please, you want to say something? And I'd like to say, we don't all need to agree, but let us all agree to disagree agreeably. Everybody shout agree. Agreed.
Okay, I just want to, make a contribution
Yeah,
to
please
say,
do. Yes, sir.
okay, for instance, in these high-performing, organizations that we work now,
Yes, sir.
management is not even patient with you, let alone you being,
Patient with others.
with subordinate. So you see that even when we write out all these, characteristics that you have mentioned here, when the pressure comes, you just probably flip this thing out of the window because those results has to be delivered. Management is not going to wait for you.
Sir, you have said, remember what I said. we're all in pressure cookers. That doesn't mean that you subsume yourself or you get lost in that system. What usually happens is that you allow your value system, and that's what I keep saying. I'm not saying that as a human being, you're not going to fail or falter. But what we're simply saying is that irrespective of what is happening on the outside, it must not change your internal state on the inside. Now, I've worked with a lot of organizations where you say there's so much pressure, but in the organization, and I'm good that we have that test, even in your organization, no matter how pressured the organization, you still have leaders who still have common sense, yes or yes. What keeps them sane and not go mental, like Faith said, Kulu mental, right? What keeps them to still talk to you as a human being, even though they're under pressure? What did they do? And we still have leaders. So the question for us is that, what is it that they have learned that we need to learn? Every time. So I want to ask you a very sincere question, sir. I know you're under a lot of pressure, but do you have an ED? Which bank are you from, sir? Keystone. Keystone, you've gone through a lot. Sorry. So let me hug you. We need to hug you now. You have gone through a lot. Sorry, sir. Please, let's say sorry, Keystone. So, Keystone, sorry. Last year was not a good year. You're better. Keystone. You have got man's boots. You must shout, oh. Shout well. But what I'm saying, sir, is that even within, because I know you went through a lot of transitions, you still had a lot of people in the midst of that transitions that were sane. Listen to what I said, though. Leadership is not about being kind. Let me say that again. What I mean kind, but I'm not saying you should not be polite. I'm not going to, when it's time to perform, you will perform. I'm not going to say, with due respect, sir, it's well. Because if you want it's well, go and get a dog. If you're here, you've got to work. Right? That's what assertiveness is. Assertiveness means that you are addressing it objectively, not personal. You understand? I'm still going to talk. I'm going to talk tough. I'll still talk tough. I'm not saying that it's all, you're good, sir. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you need to address the matter not from a personal perspective. So I'm not going to go and just say, look at how tall I was. What does performance have to do with your height? First and foremost, that is rude, irrespective if it's my June. Do you get what I'm saying? But I address that, listen, with due respect, sir. So this document that I'm saying is not up to scratch. I would want this on my table by. You don't need to shout, but you need to be firm and stern to drive performance. That's what I'm saying. Does that make sense? So what I'm saying that sometimes what happens that pressure pushes us to become very aggressive. But you see, you've also got to understand that after the season subsides and these people remain, how will they look at you? Remember, you also have a reputation to manage. As a leader, you're building your own, and that's what one of the words for integrity is credibility. Credibility means a track record of performance, right? People should be able to trust you, and you're going to see something soon. There is a cost to trust. People in the organizations, they're following you because they have to, not because they want to. I'll show you that quote. In that quote by Simon Sinek, say people will be willing to pay a sacrifice simply because they've connected to you as a leader. The day the people that you lead, the day your check begins to bounce, your emotional check, you know everybody has an emotional account, right? If you do good for me, you have made a deposit. But every single time you are rude, you're obnoxious, you're making withdrawals, one day that check will bounce. And one day, what will happen is that I might not say anything, but you will see the reaction on my face. So let me give you a real case study. This is true life. So we're in a session on leadership. And it was for bank-wide. So we're doing it level by level. So a senior leader was complaining about, this was GMs, AGMs, and she was complaining about her team members not performing and not whatever. And she mentioned a particular guy. And she mentioned that this guy, blah, 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 blah. So, we went through that process of how to manage people and all that. A few months later, we were dealing with AMs. No, not as AMs. SBOs and AMs. So this guy, so now I didn't know. So the guy was now telling his own side. So he was telling a story of bosses that were bad. And he mentioned the story. Listen to what he said. This is a true life story. Listen to what he said. He said he had finished work and he had delivered whatever. But it was NPR. I know how NPR is, a lot of pressure. But he had finished his work. But this particular lady, she likes hierarchy by living. How many of you know what hierarchy by living is? If a guy no go, who born you to leave? So he had come to meet the boss and told her that please, that he needs to get home on time. This time he's talking about is 7 p.m., not 4 or 3. But he needs to get, and he's going towards the Magodo area from the island. And so please, that I need, because there's something he has to do with his daughter, because his daughter needs to submit it. And he had submitted everything. When it was time to go, he went to meet the lady. The woman looked at him and said, what's wrong with you? Long and short story, he had to wait. How many of you know that that's a massive emotional withdrawal? The guy got so upset. Eventually, when it was now to 10, the woman was going home, then everybody started leaving. The guy was rushing home. Now, the woman had left a while. He started receiving a call. Guess who the call was from? Was from this woman. You know what he said to the woman? Throw away what kind of nonsense is this? Guess why the woman was calling him? Who can guess? No. On 3rd Mainland Bridge, she had a flat tire. So she knew that he'll be coming. So she wanted his help. Now, guess what the guy said? He said, not only did I throw away the phone, he saw her on the road and passed. He did the right thing. That's what I mean by emotional, when your check bounces. Right? So we must not ensure, so is that balance? So now listen to what I said. That is the paradox. How do we ensure we manage this? That is, ensure that we manage people's emotions as well as drive organizational goals effectively. All right? Is that we're talking about? So confidence is about managing both parts. And for that to happen, it is the difference between, you want to say something, please go on.
I understand from what
Dr. Kantamos, yes, can I go back to it?
For whatever risk management, he mentioned something.
I mentioned
that's intellectual, you know.
Okay,
the last one was individual consideration.
Yes.
I think what you are just saying has to do with this last one.
Yes, individual
because as a manager, as a leader in an organization, you need to consider your employees, interests and what have you.
It's the tightrope that managers and leaders face. I see empathy has 3 parts. There is a cognitive part, the way people think. There's an emotional part, the way people feel. But guess what? Your response is what it is. It's called empathetic consideration. You need to be able to consider people. That's why I said that leadership is not about being kind. It's about being objective. Does that make sense to us? It's about being objective. Objectivity is that you're looking at both sides of the spectrum to ensure that you're able to make a right decision. But see, the guidance for us, our true north, are your values. What kind of leader, after the storm, do you want to still be remembered for? It's very important, because whether you like it or not, there is a perception management. That is managing the perception of others about you is what is called brand management, right? Your personal brand will suffer if you're not able to manage this tightrope or these 2 extreme spectrums. Thank you so much, sir, for that. Confidence is, in terms of driving result, is what differentiates organizations from winning and losing. Your inability to manage both becomes problematic. Remember, confidence is about building momentum. So if we're going to build momentum, we cannot be negative. We need to have a positive mindset. Okay. So we have tea break now. I think we need to go for tea break now. So let me pause here and we'll go for tea break for the next 15 minutes. Yes, so like, because right now you're looking at me and say, thank God. All right, so let's go for tea break. I hope I've made sense so far.